Hello, I wanted to do a breastfeeding video, just an update on my whole journey, starting from when Jake was born. So when Jake was born and we were in the hospital, I wanted to breastfeed, so I tried and it was very painful for me. It didn't get any better. It was horrible and it was to the point where I had to like tense up because it hurt so bad. Um, So I tried to let it go like as long as possible between the feedings. Like I would stretch like they say to do it like every hour to 3 hours, I think, in the beginning, but I would do it like every 3.5 or so because it was just so horrible. And I even had a lactation consultant come in and try to help me and everything, and they said, "Oh my gosh, you're doing so good. I don't see what the problem is." So I didn't really understand. I thought that maybe just I was too sensitive and that there was nothing they could do to help me. So I thought that, after a few weeks of it, that it would probably get better. So after I got home, it didn't get better like at all. I was exclusively breastfeeding, nothing else for like 3 weeks, I would say. And then I just didn't understand why it wasn't getting any better. So I started to just pump and feed. And I used the Lancino manual pump, which took me about 25 minutes, I would say, to get like 4 ounces. Actually, I don't really remember how much I got back then, but probably about 3 or 4 ounces. And then I would have to time it right so that I could pump before and then feed to him afterwards, which would be like probably 20 minutes later. So it was a lot of work. I had to do, I don't know, how long would that be? Like twice as much work as I would have to do just with breastfeeding, and I had to sterilize everything and wash the pump. And I was using a manual, and I was pumping probably 8 times a day, like every 3 hours, and it really started to hurt my hands because those are horrible if you've ever used one of those. It worked, I mean, but it just took forever. So I was just exclusively pumping and feeding for until he was like 2 months old. And then I started to kind of reintroduce nursing. I did it occasionally so he wouldn't forget, like once a day, or then sometimes I wouldn't do it for like a few days. It wasn't really consistent or anything. But nothing really happened to my milk supply, thankfully. Um, when he was about 2 months, I started to introduce nursing again occasionally, more often than I was doing before. It still hurt and everything. It wasn't as horrible as it was in the beginning, but it was still bad. And then I started to give him some formula probably at 2 months too. Not a whole bunch, just whenever I couldn't pump enough and he was still hungry. Mostly like in the evening because I, for some reason, don't have as much milk in the evening. I think that's all. And now I just got so lost. From like 2.5 months and on, I'm sorry, I'm so lost. This is horrible right now. I was still pumping and feeding but then I got the Medela electrical advanced pump, whatever it's called. Advanced electric pump. And I would pump and feed, and it was so much easier. It only took me like 10 to 15 minutes to get 5 ounces. But it was still hard, but it was a lot easier. And then about 3 weeks ago, I started to nurse again a lot more. So it's just been up and down. I've done everything because I really want to breastfeed, so I'm trying as hard as I can. And now I'm nursing, and it's so much better. And he's almost 4 months. So you just have to keep it up because it's really hard, but it's worth it if you really want it. It's pretty good for the most part. Sometimes it will hurt because he'll pull his head back and it'll like snap out of his mouth and that hurts, but he'll get back on and it's okay. I pump about like 5 ounces and then I have extra. I still give him formula on occasion, but not as much. I don't even use like half a can of like the smallest cans a month. Not very much. And Yeah, I don't know. This is a horrible video, I'm sorry. It's 11 o'clock at night. But I guess that's all. I hope this helps or gives you an idea of what breastfeeding is like. It's hard, but it's well worth it.